School choice has been settled. Talk of taking a step back on Medicaid expansion will likely take center stage at the State House. Today, House Bill 138 was on the floor of the House for nearly 2 hours of debate. The objective? To put some safeguards on Medicaid expansion, adding 11 conditions for those using the program. Things like work requirements for those that can work, like 20 hours a week. It also puts a cap on enrollment, even limiting how long a person can be on the program. Medicaid expansion was voted on and voted in by more than 60% of Idahoans back in 2018. So Hunter Funk was there today to listen to that debate, I should say, this morning. So I guess the question is, how did that debate go?
Yeah, it was quite the debate, and the party didn't matter. Both people on both sides were passionate about both sides of the bill. Proponents of the bill say there's too much spending and that this legislation ensures Medicaid dollars are redirected to those who truly need it. They say these conditions set forth will help control the spending.
There's far too much waste. There's far too much fraud.
This is not a hard decision. This is a wise decision towards a sustainable future and a sustainable program that we need to maintain.
Sometimes you have to rip the Band-Aid off. Sometimes you have to tell them you need to go work.
It is not sustainable, and nothing we have tried so far has worked.
Looking to the other side, critics argue this will hurt rural hospitals who rely on Medicaid expansion for their clients. There will need to be more staff to handle the waivers required in the bill. It's impossible for people to meet all of the guidelines, and it's a step back from the legislation that was passed several years ago, which thousands of Idahoans advocated for.
It took thousands of people almost killing themselves to get this through. That is how desperate the people of Idaho were for Medicaid expansion.
I think the intention is good. I think that we can work together to find solutions, but this is not it. This will repeal Medicaid expansion because it is not possible.
We're talking about big numbers, and I get how important it is to be careful with taxpayer dollars. I understand the need to pursue waivers, to get costs under control. But I think it's equally relevant to understand that there is more than just the top line number that we need to look at when we assess what we are going to do with this program going forward.
And the vote there was tightly contested, with 38 voting in favor of the bill and 32 voting against. Now it's headed to the Senate. Again, it was about a 2-hour-long debate.
Yeah, not sure if that's veto-proof, so we'll see what the governor does. Should it advance any further, it's heading to the Senate, as you said, next. But it is interesting. They want to put a lot of guidelines on health care and those that get it, but when it comes to education and those tax dollars, they don't put a lot of guidelines on those.
Yeah.
So those kind of the dichotomy there that we saw today at the State House. All right, thank you very much, Hannah.